Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and so far today I've done some cleaning and whatnot, and I've edited my previous vlog and exported it. And I have done some reading, and if you saw my last vlog you would have seen that I was reading Alice Emma by Ava Glass, and I did finish this, and I overall had a fun time with this. I gave it 4 stars. With that, we do see, like it's predictable. We see Michael and Emma get to MI6, and there is some issues with that in the sense someone in the agency seems like is taking an opportunity with the fact things didn't go as planned, things got out of control quite quickly, and is kind of trying to use this to kind of get ahead and ruin Ripley's career. And they are, I guess, ignorant about the fact he has friends in powerful places who know him and know that what this person is saying is not right. And I'm guessing eventually he just gets his wall back and whatnot. And we do see while Ripley's off the grid that he is tracking the person who ordered the hit, who ordered Michael to be kidnapped, and for some reason this person, after their mission failed, they didn't go back to Russia, they went to Paris, and tricking this person, they showed him, I guess, evidence of things that the Russian government would be not so happy about before, leaving him to be arrested by the Russian government and him probably being charged with corruption. And yeah, we did see the end of that, and really, yeah, that was the end of the novel. I do have to say, it seems like Emma, she grew to care about Michael, or maybe a bit more than just simply care about him, because it seems like at the end this almost became personal for her, and I kind of wish I was delved into more, but she is in a place in her career, has her, that she can not strive, but kind of stay in this, think about this job for too long. She has to move on to the next job they have for her, so that's interesting. That. Yeah, if I find another book in the series at my library or in a like library sale or something, I might pick it up. I don't know, but I like this one. So enough. And since then, I did start a new book. I started Maurice by E.M. Forster. And this is about set in the elegant Edwardian world of Cambridge undergraduate life. This story by master novelist introduces us to Morris Hall when he is 14. We follow him through public school and Cambridge and into his father's firm. In a highly structured society, Morris is a conventional young man in almost every way, except that he is homosexual. And what's this when this novel was written and whatnot. And when we first meet Maurice, he is, it seems like, graduating from this boarding school he's been at since he was little and going into public school. And then we kind of just go through him in normal school just because I'm on page 32 and he's already at Cambridge. Like, kind of sped through most of his life story. And one thing about Maurice is that he just tries to make himself almost as invisible as possible. He tries to blend in. Like, he's nothing below average, he's nothing above average when it comes to school. He's just average in every way that's expected of him. And it seems like he is expected to follow in his father's footsteps, go to the same schools that he did, be in the same career as him, just follow like his father's footsteps in all ways possible. his father is now dead and he's just being raised by his mother and he has two sisters, so. And the one thing about Maurice is that we've seen on 2 occasions how an older man, a teacher, has tried to teach him the birds and the bees, like, try to educate him on what he is, supposed to do, which is marry a woman and have children. Because there was a quote earlier how, like, the second teacher who gave him advice, that men who come from women have a duty to sleep with women and continue on the human species. And he, I would say he understands the concept but not the execution, because he kind of really, fathom about or take in the fact that he's supposed to sleep with a woman. Like, it doesn't really make sense to him, and that's how far I've gotten. I am only on page 32, but very much, intrigued by this, so yeah. And so far, I'm interested in seeing more of Maurice's life and what he gets up to in Cambridge and where the story goes, so yeah. Yeah, I think that's all for now, so I'll see you next. So, it's the next day, and I've done some work and whatnot, and I've also done some reading of Maurice Bramy on page 112, and I'm definitely intrigued by this. I think, I'm not gonna do this in order. Morris, he meets this boy when he's at Cambridge named Durham, and the two become extremely close friends. And Morris, experiences almost like, I would say wake up call when Durham confesses that he's in love with him, or that he loves him, I mean. And Durham is someone who's very much into Greek philosophy, the Greek works of the Greek, and he relates more to what's being said by them than what's being said in the Bible, because of the fact that they both come from religious families, or really families, like, I'm not sure if they're actually religious, but they put up an act to look like they are good Christians for their reputation. And Maurice, he has questioned his beliefs because of Durham and Durham's learnings, and he's leaning towards more on the side of atheism. And his mother seems to pretty much accept when Maurice stops going to church, because this hurt their reputation. And it seems like on Durham's side of things, it's the same through his mother is less accepting of his beliefs. And when Durham says he loves Maurice, that wasn't a good reaction from him, but a good reaction in modern day, I should say, because Maurice is still in the mindset that he is expected to marry a woman, to love a woman, and he is starting to figure out the fact that he is attracted to men, and see the progress of it was quite interesting. And with this, falling out, Maurice and Durham, Durham really is avoiding Maurice for a few weeks, and the two of them do talk eventually, when Maurice, corners Durham. And I say corner because Durham has found every excuse in the book to avoid Maurice. And yeah, they both admit there was something there, that they love each other, and we see kind of the start of a relationship who's, I don't even really know how to describe it, because they are close, they do kiss and whatnot, but I don't know, there was definitely something there that's more than friends. And not Maurice, my word, Durham, he, in society, he's, I guess, from a different position in society than Maurice. It seems like he's in a higher position where he does come from money, and his family, like, they are from their home, has been known as England for generations. They've previously held a position in power. So there's that, and there is expectations on Durham as well. In the sense, like, his mother, I guess, wants him to be more well traveled, because Durham is only obsessed with going to Greece and Italy, while she wants him to go to, like, the Americas and whatnot. And there's that, and he, of course, he is expected to marry well. And when she meets Maurice's sisters, she's like, which one of you two might be the better choice for my son? So that, and it seems like the family's getting on well, which is interesting, which is, I guess, nice. But yeah, Durham and Maurice, we see them throughout their lives. Like, we skip 2 more years of this, and with them both have been done with Cambridge and kind of going on with like Maurice has entered the office job, and Durham, or Clive as we now call him, and that's something I do like, is that when they get together officially, Durham becomes Clive in essence. Maurice no longer calls him by his last name but his first name, and that's a change, I guess, I like a lot. So they're much closer and more, I guess, familiar with one another, and almost they're on the same level. But Clive is studying to go into law, and he passes that test. He does get influenza, and he does face a relapse, and that just determines him to go to Greece, and that's where I'm at, is that him wanting to go to Greece. And yeah, it's like seeing how they're just kind of not handling their relationship, but going about their relationship, and while facing the laws at the time, I mean, being, and I guess the expectation of their families. There's one thing I have to say, is that I just don't like either of them, because there's actually a line in this book that's like, oh yeah, the both of us, we're misogynists. Like, they hate their sisters and their mother, like they think they're above them. Like, no, that's the one thing I'll look down on them for. I don't stand misogynist for obvious reasons. So yeah, so far it is interesting, and I am curious in seeing where the rest of this book has to hold. So yeah, I think that's all for now. So it's the next day, and it's just been quite a dreary day. Like, it started off snowing, and then it quickly turned to rain. So, but yeah, the snow is gone. So definitely not the white Christmas, unfortunately. But I did have to run a couple errands today. I did have to take one of my parents to an appointment. That's a normal doctor's appointment. So. But on the way home, we did stop by at Barnes & Noble, and I did get 2 books. And honestly, yeah, it's the 23rd of December today. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. I've never seen a line so ridiculous at Barnes & Noble, but it makes sense with people getting last minute Christmas presents, but still. Wait, I got He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. This is the second book in the She Who Became the Sun. I'm not sure what the series name is. Yeah, I read She Who Became the Sun, I think, a year ago, and wanted to continue on in that series. And I also got What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. I read What Moves the Dead earlier this year. Enjoyed it. Wanted to continue on. Looking forward to both. Yeah. And I have done some reading of Maurice Premium, page 176, and definitely liking this. You see, Clive as he goes on this trip to Greece, and something happens there where, I don't know, I'm guessing because he was quite sheltered growing up and he only knew like his mother, his sisters, like Maurice did. So for him, he's like kind of disgusted by women because of that. And when he's out in the world, he realizes women aren't that bad actually, and he realizes he doesn't fancy men that way, but he's attracted to women. And yeah, he tells Maurice this when he returns, and well, Maurice, it seems like try to take it well, but doesn't understand, and Clive kind of distances himself from Maurice to, I guess, avoid temptation, and really it's just, maybe not that, but it's just the two have definitely grown apart, with Clive going on to marry a woman named Anna, and he doesn't tell Maurice this, that, like, Maurice doesn't learn this, like, I guess, directly there we are. He learns it from his aunt who knew Clive's mother, friend, knows her, who knows Clive. And when Clive and his wife and call about Maurice is told that he's the 8th person they called, so, you know, we see Maurice and Clive interact, and it's quite, I guess, tense, just because, I don't know, they're both trying to seem like everything's normal, everything's fine, but Clive, I guess the way he sees what happened with Maurice is something that occurred in boyhood, something that he now feels ashamed about, that now he's older, more mature. So it's like, I don't know, I guess in his eyes it's a mistake, it seems like to me. Well, with Maurice, Maurice, he definitely still thinks something is wrong with him, and he even goes to a doctor to try and see if he can be cured. And one thing I enjoy, I guess, is that they don't outwardly say like what this is. They're like, oh, it's the Oscar Wilde way, like I'm affected in the way Oscar Wilde was, whatever that is. And the doctor's like this, he doesn't really give Maurice the best advice, I think, and he just tells Maurice he'll just grow out of it, and Maurice is thinking he needs, and Maurice is reminded he is expected to marry a woman, so yeah, it's just the way that Maurice thinks. Then with the fact Clive was a bit older than him, and with the fact he turned 24, that maybe Maurice will grow out of it, which it seems like he doesn't want to, but he needs to in his eyes. And, you know, my word, there was something else. Oh, there we are. And I think I said this earlier, but I do like with the fact Clive had this, I guess, realization with him when he was exposed to the world, when he saw society and the way people actually are, when he wasn't so guarded and so, I don't know, secluded, I guess, from the rest of the world. Like, he's realizing things about himself, and he realizes, or thinks he realizes, he likes women, but I don't know, this is just interesting the way things have turned. And yeah, I think that's all for now. So it's the next day, and it also happened to be Christmas Eve, and I did have to go today just to run a couple errands and whatnot. And I also did finish Maurice by A.M. Forster just now, and I like this. I enjoyed it. I don't know, I think because of the language it was written, I just never really felt connected to the characters, and at times with classics I feel like the writing and what they're trying to say just goes over my head, so, but I did
like this. We see, oh my god, Maurice. I have another character's name going through my head. He goes to this doctor who's known to kind of hypnotize you and make you, I guess, believe that you're straight, that you like the opposite sex, and it kind of works, but not really. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't take the full effect on him. And he's advised some stuff by the doctor to, go to the place where you were at, stay. And one of the issues he was at Clive, so. And he's been staying at Clive's for a bit, and after this appointment, Maurice has this, I guess, habit of just sitting his head against the window and screaming, "Come!" And one day, someone uses a ladder, and that's come. And it's this guy named Alec who claims he's like a gatekeeper? Let's say, yeah, gamekeeper. And they're I guess intimate and whatnot. And Maurice, he leaves Clive's house and goes back to his own house where his sister's at. And Alec tries to get in contact with him, says that he wants to see Maurice again, and says that he has a key to the boathouse on Clive's property. And Maurice just doesn't come in. I don't know where he got this idea of blackmail, but I guess he's worried that Alec's gonna try and blackmail him with the fact they slept together. And Maurice doesn't lie to him because there will be written proof that he was in contact with him. And we see Maurice just kind of avoid Alec and Clive, and he tries to go back to the doctor to continue the hypnotization, I guess, and it just utterly fails. Like, the doctor did say that it worked like 75% of the time, and Maurice thinks he's the 25%, and yeah. We see Alec, he's not exactly the gamekeeper or this is servant to Clive. He is someone who has connections, and his brother, and I guess he made an agreement with his brother that he would go to Argentina to work or run a business there. And yeah, the father apparently doesn't seem happy with what Maurice did. I don't know. But yeah, they meet up in a museum, are intimate once more in a nearby hotel. And Maurice thinks this will be the last time he ever sees Alec. And Alec happens to miss the boat purposely. And he wrote to Maurice to come to the boathouse, and yeah, I don't know, it seems like Maurice is willing to give up his position in society, give up society altogether just to be with Alec. Like, he actually says he's willing to give up money and a home just to be with him. And we do learn later on that apparently seems like what happened, because Clive and him never run into each other again, and Clive no longer knows anyone who has spoken to Maurice, so it seems like Maurice has this, I don't know, just separated himself from society, which is, I don't know, interesting. But for someone he doesn't know very well, like, I don't know, this, especially in that judgment, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, and we see Clive, I don't know, I guess he has changed in that year since he told Maurice that he doesn't love him. And he is disgusted with the fact that Maurice is in love with Alec, that he was physical and intimate with him. He disgusts him and thinks he should find a way to make him kind of be a person in society and be married to the opposite sex. He plots it, but it doesn't seem like it goes into fruition, and that's the end of the book. it's just their last meeting, and we do get an insight on Maurice afterwards. But yeah, it seems like I did like how Maurice, I don't know, he's accepted himself and accepted that in this moment in time society will not accept him for who he is, because he is given advice that he should go somewhere where being gay isn't legal, like France or another country, and he doesn't contemplate it at all because his life is in England, his family, his friends, his entire life is in this country, and he cannot fathom of the idea of going to another country. So yeah, overall it is like seeing Maurice as, I guess, accept himself and accept that this is who he is, and also accept that society isn't going to change anytime soon, and decide to he would rather be happier than just be a member of society in a place where he is miserable. So yeah, overall I'm gonna give it 4 stars, and I will discuss what book I'm planning to read next tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see.
So it's the next day, and it is Christmas, and I personally don't celebrate, but Merry Christmas to those who do. And so far today I've just done some cleaning and whatnot, and I have done some reading of my book. I started In the Woods by Hannah French, and this is about 3 children leave their small Dublin neighborhood to play in the surrounding woods. Hours later, their mother's calls go unanswered. When the police arrive, they find only one of the children gripping a tree trunk in terror, wearing blood-filled sneakers and unable to recall a single detail of the previous hours. 20 years later, Detective Rob Wine, the farm boy who has kept his past a secret, and his partner Cassie Maddox investigate the murder of a 12-year-old girl in the same woods. Now, with only snippets of long-buried memories to guide him, Wine has the chance to uncover both the mystery of the case before him and that of his own shadowy past. And I'm on page 70, and I'm just now getting into it. It did take me a while to kind of get used to the writing style and whatnot, and really just to feel like I'm in a story now. I am. And we just see how Wine, he made his way into the murder squad, what he had to do. He had to go through different departments in order to be put in this position. And we see when he's first introduced to Cassie how she was like unlike everyone on the murder squad, and the friendship they've built and how close they are, and we see that closeness, and they just seem to not bounce off one another, but really just know really everything about one another, and really like how to work as a team, when to their roles, I guess, in this team, like, and how it changes depending on the case, especially with the fact Cassie is a woman and there is some misogyny in the department, especially including coming from the boss or the head of their department named Kelly. And when he's told of where this case would be, it does throw him off guard, I guess, because it does bring up the fact that he knows this area quite well, and things have changed in a sense that in the 20 years he's been away. The woods, they're kind of like a like a shadow of what they were once, and Ryan, it seems like he doesn't really think a lot about what happened. Like, I think deep down he might have some command with the fact he's the only survivor of what happened to him and his friends, and his 2 other friends. They've never been seen again, but he knows the facts and he knows what's in the police report, which he has read, and he doesn't really, it seems like, think much of it. It seems like, yeah, these are the facts, and I don't know, there's just no, I guess he's just missed himself to bury the emotions or something. I'm not entirely sure how to phrase that, but yeah, I am curious in seeing how this case might be related to what happened in his past, as they did find a hair clip that his friend, I think her name was Jamie, was wearing when she disappeared on the scene of the body, and we are learning nothing like their investigation, the beginning of their investigation, really how they're talking to the family, and something about the dynamic of the family seems weird with the way the eldest dresses and whatnot. And when they interview the girl's ballet teacher, she mentions that this girl was sick, and then suddenly she's like, "Nah, I don't want to be so sick anymore," and then stop being sick. So there is the, I guess, idea that maybe that she and her twin sister switched places, because the twin sister looks too much like her. So they write it off because she didn't have, I guess, the passion for dance, and as well physically she is half her sister's size, so there's that. But yeah, I am definitely intrigued in seeing more of this and seeing how this case affects him, because even if he's not thought of it, it must bring still, there's gotta still be something there with the fact of the location and whatnot. And I am curious if we will get to know what happened those 20 years ago and why he doesn't remember anything. It seems like it's all a blank slate, like, for him. Not blank slate, I should say, out of more like, I don't know, it's all blank for him, like what happened to him and his friends. And I'm curious if these two cases might somehow be connected. So yeah, because I can't imagine it's gotta be the same person from 20 years ago, unless they were like 20 when they did whatever they did to these kids, and now they're 40, or they were in their 30s and 50s, like, but still, like, I don't know. I'm definitely intrigued. But yeah, I think that's all for now. So I'll see you when I see you.
So it's the next day, and it was quite a long day. I just had to go around running a bunch of errands, do some grocery shopping and whatnot. And it was quite chilly today. I think it was just over 20 degrees, so yeah, and it has since gotten quite cloudy and through. They do promise snow tonight, so. And I have done some reading of notes, putting on page 160. And I am liking how we are getting, Rob's perspective in the aftermath, when everything's already happened, how he's reflecting on the case, and how there were clues he oversaw or he missed, or something that was obvious that he just missed. And I do also like his friendship with Cassie, how they're very close. I mean, they treat each other like brother and sister, so I do like that. And oh my god, and we do see there is kind of a very loose connection between the cases, in the sense, the deceased's father was someone who I knew when he was a kid. He was like a bad boy or whatever, or wannabe bad boy. So there's that, and the fact, like, his eldest daughter's 18, and what happened in 1984 was over 20 years ago, so he and his now wife both had her when they were extremely young, which is interesting. And I do like how oh my word, how Wab and his family, they try to put what happened behind them by changing his name from Adam to Wab, sending him to boarding school in England, moving to England. Like, they just wanted people to not forget about them, because what happened can be forgotten, but to, I guess, stop trying to find them with this. And how Wab, he's also tried to forget what's happened. Like, he doesn't remember what happened, but he's not able to remember, but he doesn't want to remember what happened in his past. He just wants to move forward in his life and in his career, and right now he's in a position where the location of where his friends went missing is the exact same as this girl who was killed, and it seems like there was some blood on the scene that didn't belong to the deceased, so it might have belonged to his friend. And I guess this is the start of the connection of what happened, and yeah, and we see how he's remembering his friends, how they were like, and how the newspapers try to, I guess, move people to sympathy by publishing pictures of what they would have looked like when they were older with horrible haircuts. And with the case itself, there is some questions on what is up with this family, because there are some aspects that are just like a bit weird, in the sense that it seems like they only use the landline. I mean, the girl who was killed, she did have a cell phone, but it seems like she was only allowed to use it. I mean, I do have to remember, this is like 2007 when this book was published, so technology was very much different to how it is now, with people having landlines, and the fact, like, apparently it wasn't used that often, and there was something weird with the daughters. I mean, Jessica, it seems like, I don't know, something's happened to her and she's just withdrawn from herself. Like, we see her school records, how until she was a certain age she was a standard student, but something happened and she's withdrawn from herself, and it's not like she's autistic. They do mention it as she is showing the signs of autism a bit later than most people do, it seems like. And with the oldest, Rosalind, I mean, there's some issues with the fact she did run away once, but she was just hanging out with a friend and apparently didn't tell her parents. And I don't know, she tried to talk to Rob about something and missed the meeting she wanted to set up, and she didn't really tell him what she wanted to. It seems like when she does talk to him, she just wants to know how her sister died, and it seems like she has a complicated relationship with her father, who adored the deceased sister. So yeah, but I am curious on what is going on in this family, and if it's somehow connected to what happened in 1984, because because there are a lot of coincidences that are a bit too odd to just be coincidences, I guess. So yeah, and yeah, I think that's all for now. I'm gonna lie down because I'm tired. So
it's the next day, and we did get snow overnight. We got a good few inches, I believe. And yeah, I did have to clean it up. And I don't know why, but for some reason I just got extremely cold when I finished it. It also just took me out. I was quite tired, but I feel mostly chilly, so that's always fun in winter, but oh no. I just anyway, that's not what you're here for. I am now mostly warm, but I have done some reading of In the Woods, putting me on page 210, and we are starting to see how this case is affecting
Ryan is mentally, because he's just falling apart, really. Like, he's not. This case is just taking over his mind. We get this scene where he has to give evidence during the court trial of a previous case, and he cannot remember the facts, and he claims he has a pretty good memory. And he just talks about how he was on the stand. He just made an utter fool of himself, and he is noticing that this is taking a toll on him. But at this point, it's just too late to pull out of the case without destroying his career. So he has to carry on and bear on, and we also see how they are, how Ryan and Cassie, they're talking to the families of Peter and Jamie, Ryan's friends who went missing. And really it's Cassie who has to talk to Peter's parents, as he cannot bring himself to go into that house, because it was just a place they always hung out when they were together. And even when he's talking to Jamie's mom, it does affect him quite heavily. And it seems like with what he does remember of his childhood, it might not be totally accurate, because we do get scenes with him having dinner with his parents, and his mom's like, "Oh, you were the one who told Peter and Jimmy to stop bullying that boy when Ryan thinks it was Peter who said so." So that's something. And with the relationship with his parents, like, it's, I don't know, I think he described it quite strange because of what happened. But I think it's this, what his parents did with leaving is both trying to protect him in case whoever took them might come back for him, but also it was selfish because she couldn't stand looking at Jamie's mom or Peter's parents, or even be in the same area, because her son came back when their children did not. So this feels almost like, I guess to her, that it would be bragging, I guess, or showing off by showing them evidence that one of them did come back while the other two did not. So I did like that. And again, reading more about the friendship between Cassie and Ryan, and that's how close they are, how they are like siblings, and yeah, I don't know, I just am curious now on how this case is further gonna take a toll on Ryan's mental health, and how, I guess, he'll deteriorate, I guess, because he is already falling apart, and he does know, he knows he has to pull himself in and pull himself together in order to keep going, in order to solve this case. And we do see how, I mean, the case, it's been going on for a couple of weeks, and they have been given a lot of floaters, or I guess extra hands, and it's gone to the point where those floaters need to be taken back, both because there's been other murders, but also might be a sign that this case, in the eyes of, I guess, the people in power, is going to become this cold case, another cold case that will be in the basement, like what happened with Rob and his friend. So I don't know, I am curious. I do like that, because there is, I don't know, because every case there is stakes of you not being able to solve it, and they have the evidence, they know how she died, they know the location, they just don't know the who, and that's what they're trying to find. And yeah, that's intriguing. So yeah, and I think that's all, and that is also the end of this video.
So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel. If you want to follow me on any social media, then all those things are in the down bar below. I will see you guys next time I post a video.